Yeah, I was discussing question 29. So when you make alloy means a mixture of the metal. So alloys are generally harder and brittle. So when you make an alloy or a mixture of any metal, they will become hard and brittle. The term brittle means the object will break without deforming. We call that as a brittle object. For example, glass is a brittle object. It can deform or it can break. Without deforming. So the correct answer, copper is used to make electrical wiring. So compared to brass, we prefer copper to be as an electrical wire. So it means compared to copper, the brass does not conduct electricity. It will conduct electricity, but compared to copper, it is worse. And other metal which is mixed here in a brass, so it's mixture of zinc and copper. So copper is there. Other metal which is present is zinc. Anyone else having question 30? Yeah. Basic oxides and oxygen are used to convert iron into steel. So we are converting iron into steel by, so basic oxides and oxygen are used to convert iron into steel. Which statement is not correct? Carbon is converting to carbon dioxide. That's true, because you can see here, if we are extracting the iron or converting iron into steel. This is the basic oxygen furnace. So what happened? The oxygen reacted with carbon, and as a result, it will form carbon dioxide. And we have to identify its statement is not correct. So the first statement is correct. Silicon is converted into silicon oxide. So because if we have a trace of silicon, silicon can react with oxygen, and as a result, it can also form silicon oxide. The basic oxide react with acetic oxide to form slag. That's also true, because we add calcium oxide, which is a basic oxide, react with acetic oxide, which is silicon oxide, and it will form slag, which is calcium silicate. But the last one, the oxygen react with iron to produce hematite. That's wrong, because we want to convert iron into steel. So when we are converting iron into steel, the reaction is between oxygen and carbon, not oxygen with iron. So statement D is not true or not correct. Is it clear? Yusuf, which question you mentioned? Uh, yes, Yusuf. 26 and 7. Impure iron obtained from the blast furnace include carbon, phosphorus, silicon. The iron which we extract from the blast furnace, because the ore of the iron is extracted or taken from the sand, so it also contains other non-metals such as phosphorus and silicon. Trace or small amount. Which impurities are removed from molten iron as a gas when it is made into steel? So what happened? Because silicon oxide, when we add calcium oxide, it form a slag, and slag will be a molten. But when we add oxygen to the molten iron which we extract from the blast furnace, the impure iron, so oxygen reacted with carbon and carbon react with oxygen. As a result, it will produce carbon dioxide. And the carbon dioxide gas will escape the furnace. So which impurity remove the furnace in the form of gas? So that's carbon only. And question 27, y displaces x. So if y displaces x, it means y is more reactive than x. X does not displace w. So if x is not able to displace w, it means w is more reactive than x. So both x and w are more both y and w are more reactive than x. X displaces Z. So if X is able to displace Z, so Z is the least reactive or the less reactive. So what we have to identify, the least reactive is Z. So least reactive is Z. So either A can be answer or B can be answer. And before Z, it should be X because X is able to displace. So what is the correct answer here? B will be the right answer. So you just identify that the more reactive metal displaces. So if Y displace X, Y can displace X. So it means Y is more reactive than X. X is not able to displace W. It means X is less reactive than W. But we don't know where is the position of Y and W because they are more reactive. X displaces Z. So X is able to displace Z. So it means Z is less reactive than X. So what is the position? The least reactive is Z, and then after that it's X. So when you check, least reactive should be Z, and after that it should be X. So B is the correct answer. In question 26, impurities in the iron obtained from a blast furnace include carbon, phosphorus, and silicon. So which impurities are removed from molten iron oxide as a gaseous when it is made into steel? So when we are converting iron into steel, so if it contain carbon, phosphorus, and silicon. So when carbon react with oxygen, carbon plus oxygen give carbon dioxide, and carbon dioxide is a gas, so it will escape. But what about phosphorus and silicon? When phosphorus react with oxygen, it will form phosphorus oxide. And when silicon react with oxygen, it will form silicon oxide. And these oxides, they reacted with calcium oxide to form a slag. So they are not removed in the form of gas. They are just converted into molten state or a liquid state. The only oxide which escape in the form of gas is the carbon dioxide. So the question is, which impurity is removed in the gaseous form? So carbon impurities are removed in the gaseous form. That's why C was the right answer. Is it clear? From question 31 to 35. Any doubt from 31 to 35? The results of two experiments are given. So first dimension, cobalt displaces manganese. If cobalt displaces manganese, it means cobalt is more reactive than manganese. Manganese displaces silver. So it means manganese is more reactive than silver. Three more experiments are carried out. Cobalt plus silver, manganese plus cobalt, and silver plus cobalt. In which experiment does a reaction take place? So if you have a cobalt is more reactive. So if I add to a solution of silver, so as the cobalt is more reactive, cobalt is able to remove the silver from its salt because it is more reactive, so it is able to displace silver. So reaction will occur only in 3. Why not 4? Because if I add manganese is added to a solution of cobalt. If I add manganese to a solution of a cobalt, cobalt is more reactive, so manganese is not able to displace cobalt. That's why this reaction will not occur. So it's 3 only. And silver is added to cobalt. If I add silver to cobalt salt solution, again silver is less reactive, so it is not able to displace cobalt. 32, 34, 35. Cryolite, which is formula is Na3AlF6, is added to aluminum oxide in electrolytic extraction of aluminum. What is the reason for adding a cryolite? Cryolite is added to decrease or lower the melting point of ore, the aluminum oxide, so that it reduces the cost of extraction of aluminum. That's the reason why we add cryolite to concentrate the ore, to increase the conduction and to lower the melting point. But the most important reason why we add cryolite is to lower the melting point. What is a property of all metals? All metals conduct electricity. All metals are hard. But what you can do, because you want to find property of all metals. All metals can conduct, but what about all metals are hard? No. Group 1 metals are not hard. All metals have low melting. No, most of them have high, but few of them have low melting point. All metal does not react with water like copper, like lead, copper, less reactive metal. There's no reaction with water. So hardness is not the property of all metals. All metals are not hard like sodium. So which property all metals have? They all can, because they have free or the delocalized electron, so it can conduct electricity. Aluminium is extracted by electrolysis of aluminum oxide. Which statement is not correct? Aluminium ions are oxidized. Look, aluminium ions are attracted towards the cathode. They will take electron and change into aluminium atom. So as they change into aluminium atom, the definition of reduction is a gain of electron. So aluminium ion does not oxidize, they gain electron or reduce at cathode. Yeah, that's correct. Oil red. So A is carbon dioxide is made at anode. That's true because of high temperature. Carbon react with oxygen, give carbon dioxide. Cryolite is added to lower the melting point of aluminum oxide. So aluminum oxide can melt at low temperature. Electrodes are made from graphite. That's also true. So which statement is not correct? For 35, A is not correct. From question 36 to 40. Thirty-seven, 39, 40. Information about the nitrates and carbonates of the two metal Q and R is shown. This is related to the same table which I mentioned in the beginning. You have to learn the thermal decomposition of nitrates, carbonates, and hydroxide. First thing, they all appear white solid. If they all appear white solid, so it means they cannot have a transition element. So it cannot be, C cannot be an answer because all are white solid. So if it was a transition element, because you can see R, if R is a copper, it means it's a transition element. So it should be colored solid. Some specific color should be there, but all are white solid. So this give an indication These are non-transition elements. Next, nitrate of Q, when you supply the heat energy, what it gives? It gives a colorless gas which relight a glowing splint. So means it is giving out oxygen and only oxygen. Other nitrates, if you have, like example, if I was having, we have potassium nitrate, sodium nitrate, from calcium nitrate to copper nitrate. They have a similar trend of decomposition. From calcium nitrate to copper nitrate, when I supply heat energy, it will decompose into metal oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. And this nitrogen dioxide, I mentioned it is brown in color. So if it is calcium to copper nitrate, like calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, or copper nitrate, these nitrate, when we supply heat energy, they should give a brown gas. But this is not giving a brown gas, it is giving only a colorless gas. So when we heat nitrate of sodium or potassium, potassium nitrate on heating give potassium nitrite plus oxygen. So oxygen is a colorless, which relight the glowing splint. And if we have sodium nitrate, we supply heat energy, it will give sodium nitrite plus oxygen. Again, it will relight. So Q can be potassium or it can be sodium. So Q can be potassium or Q can be sodium. Q cannot be magnesium or calcium. Why it cannot be magnesium or calcium? Because when we are supplying the heat energy to nitrate of Q, if it was magnesium or calcium, it should release a brown gas, nitrogen dioxide. But it is not releasing a brown gas. It shows that it is either potassium nitrate or sodium nitrate. So what could be the right answer here? You can identify. So Q can be potassium nitrate or potassium or sodium. But already in the beginning, I mentioned this cannot be a transition element. Why it cannot be transition element? That because all appear to be white solid. If their appearance are white solid, there is no transition element. So what is the answer you're left with? You're left with only D as the right answer. You don't have to check even all of them. Using the first test, you can identify that what is the correct answer. Is it clear? So first, you remove the wrong answers. How you remove the wrong answers? Because they're white solid, so it cannot be copper. Then when you're supplying heat energy, potassium and sodium nitrate, when we supply heat energy, it gives off oxygen, and oxygen is a colorless gas. So it can be potassium or sodium only. So, and Q can be potassium or sodium, but R cannot be copper. Why? Because you can see R appearance is also white solid. So you're left with only option D. (39 and 40). Aluminium is extracted from bauxite by electrolysis. Which row shows the anode material and the anode reaction? Anode and cathode both are made up of graphite or carbon. So C and D cannot be an answer. Then anode is a positive terminal. The positive terminal always attract the negative ions. So which ion it will attract? Because it contains it's an aluminum oxide, so it contains aluminum ion and oxide ion. Oxide ion are negative, so they're attracted towards anode. So what should be the correct answer? B should be the correct answer. Anode is made up of carbon and it will attract the negative ions. Question 40, which statement about the metal zinc is not correct? It forms an oxide more readily than iron, means it is related to the rate of reaction, like it can react faster. So how you can identify? When you check the position, Statement is true because when you check the position in the reactivity, we have potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron. So zinc is more reactive than iron, so definitely it will react more readily with oxygen. That's a true statement. It is manufactured by electrolysis of zinc plant. We don't extract zinc by electrolysis, we use reduction method. So this statement is not correct. We reacted with either carbon or carbon monoxide. It is used to make brass. Brass is an alloy of zinc and copper. That's true. It is used to prevent iron from rusting. We call galvanization or galvanizing iron because zinc is more reactive, so it does not allow iron to rust. So which statement is not correct? B is not correct. Zinc is more reactive than iron, so it will react fast. That's correct. It is used to make brass. That's also correct. It is used to prevent iron from rusting, galvanizing. But how zinc is extracted? We discussed the extraction of a zinc. So how we are extracting zinc? So first we have a ore of a zinc blend. We roast this zinc blend. It will turn into zinc oxide plus sulfur dioxide. And this zinc oxide reacted with either carbon or carbon monoxide, which will reduce the zinc oxide into zinc metal. So which method we use for extraction of zinc? We use either carbon or carbon monoxide, not electrolysis. That's why statement B is not correct. Is it clear? This is the extraction of a zinc, the method. We don't use electrolysis, we use reduction with carbon or carbon monoxide. From question 41 to 45. Any doubt from question 41 to 45? No doubt from 41 to 45. Then 46 to 50. From 46 to 50. A student heated copper 2 carbonate and copper 2 nitrate in a separate test tube. Both compound decompose. Which row shows the gases produced? So if we heat copper carbonate, the thermal decomposition of copper carbonate. So when we supply heat energy to copper carbonate, it will decompose into copper oxide plus carbon dioxide. So which gas is given off? Carbon dioxide by decomposition of copper carbonate. But if we have copper nitrate and we supply heat energy, as a result, it will produce copper oxide plus nitrogen dioxide plus oxygen. So now nitrogen dioxide is brown in color. So what we'll observe, a brown gas is released. So what is formed? It produces nitrogen dioxide and oxygen. And this is only producing copper, carbon dioxide. So because we have to identify the gases produced. So the gas for decomposition of copper to carbonate is carbon dioxide, whereas copper to nitrate is carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, and oxygen. $49.50. So in question 49, aluminum objects do not need a protection of from corrosion. Like we don't have to paint them, we don't have to uh, use any protective metal coating. For which question it is written D? 46. No, it should be C, not D. Because when you heat copper to carbonate, sometime it happened because uh, looking at the question, I'm just copying from the marking scheme. So sometime the order might change. So the 46, the answer is C. Do correction on your marking schemes as well. Question 49, aluminum objects do not need to protect from corrosion. Iron object must be protected from corrosion. Why does aluminum resist corrosion? So why the aluminum does not rust? For this one also, the answer is C. I think in the marking scheme it's written a bit different because aluminum having an oxide layer, and this oxide layer, we discussed that there's an oxide layer on aluminum which does not allow it to react with the other substance, so we don't have to. The top layer of aluminum is not exactly aluminum, it is aluminum oxide. So aluminum has a protective oxide layer. So 49 C is the right answer. If your marking scheme is written A, do correction for in that. '48. Which row shows the uses of metal listed? So you have to learn the uses of the metals. Aluminium is used for manufacturing. There are two main uses of aluminium. One is for aircraft manufacture, and the second one is overhead cables. These high tension wires, because aluminium is having a +3 charge, so it is better conductor than even compared to copper. So high tension wires and aircraft body both uses aluminium. So or aluminium can also resist corrosion. So as it can resist corrosion due to this oxide layer, so we can also use for a food container. So we have to check which is correct. So aluminium can be used for aircraft manufacture. That's correct. Electrical wiring or overhead cables. Instead of electrical wiring, mainly overhead cables or high tension wires and food container. Then copper, what is the use of the copper? Copper can be used for electrical wiring, and copper cooking utensils are there made up of copper. Low carbon steel or mild steel or low carbon steel is generally soft. So as it is soft, then it can be used for car bodies. So 48 D should be the right answer. 48 D should be the right answer. These are the uses for aluminium. Aluminium can be used for either food container, it can be used for manufacturing aircraft bodies, it can be used for overhead cable, not electrical wiring, mainly overhead cables. Mild steel or low carbon steel, because it is generally soft, so it can deform easily So if there is a car crash or a car accident, then the car body can absorb greater amount of energy and it will deform. That's why we use a low carbon steel for car bodies. A steel which contains small proportion of the carbon. You have to learn the uses of low carbon steel, high carbon steel, stainless steel. Do correction for question 48 as well. I'll share the again the marking scheme. The last few questions it was done in a short time, maybe. Answer I switched. Anyone else having a doubt? The last is from 51 to 56, 57. 51 to 57. '54. Heating copper to carbonate produce copper oxide. You have to learn the appearance. Copper oxide is black in color. And copper oxide form, heating copper oxide with carbon produce copper metal. What is the appearance of the copper metal? Copper metal is brown in color. And what is the appearance of copper to carbonate? Copper to carbonate is green in color. From where you will learn these colors? So from where you will learn these colors, there's a table which I shared with you. You can identify the color of a substance.
Sir, which table?
I will show just a minute. I'm opening that file. So this is a table which you have to learn. The color of the substances. You can see here.
So, sir, you have sent it on the group.
I have already sent this file. This is there on page number 18. So if you have copper,
all right.
If you have copper carbonate, so you don't have to learn whether it is soluble or insoluble, but you have to learn the color. So if it's copper carbonate, the copper from here and carbonate, what is the appearance? The copper carbonate is green in color. And then when we supply heat energy, it becomes copper oxide. So what is the appearance of copper oxide? So copper and then oxide, oxygen. So copper oxide is black in color. And copper metal we are using for wire. So it's brown, even pink color is also acceptable. Okay, I will resend this. I will just take a screenshot and send only this table instead of whole file again. So heating copper to carbonate, so either it can be A will be answer or B, but it produces copper oxide. What is the appearance of copper oxide? It is black in color. And then when it form a copper metal, brown or pink, so A should be the right answer. Is it clear? So basically you have to learn this color. Yes, Abdullah, you have a question? A copper metal is produced First, you are supplying, you have a copper carbonate. You supply heat energy, it becomes copper oxide. Copper carbonate is green in color. When you supply heat energy, it becomes copper oxide, so that is black in color. And when you supply heat copper oxide in the presence of carbon, so what happened? Carbon monoxide and copper metal will form. So what is the appearance of the copper metal? Copper metal alone, it is brown or pink. So 54A should be the right answer. Question 50. Heating copper to carbonate produce copper oxide and carbon dioxide. Heating copper to oxide with carbon produce copper. Which process are involved in the conversion of copper to carbonate to copper? So first, what we are doing? We have copper carbonate. For copper carbonate to convert into copper oxide and carbon dioxide, how we carry out this change? We carry out this change by supplying a heat energy. So first process which is involved here is a thermal decomposition or heating. So either A can be, C can be answered or D can be answered. And then what we are doing, the copper oxide form which reacted with carbon to produce copper. So copper oxide reacted with carbon to produce copper and carbon monoxide or carbon dioxide. So what is this process? It's a removal of oxygen. If there's a removal of oxygen and if we remove oxygen from the substance, so what we call that as reduction. So here the two processes which are involved is first the thermal decomposition followed by reduction or removal of oxygen. So it's D is the right answer. Any other question from 51 to 57? 56? Which row describe the use of the metal and the property upon which that use depends? So you have to check according to the question. Like aluminum, if we use for aircraft body, why we use it for aircraft body? Because of its low density. So aluminum use is correct, but the property for which we are using that is not correct. Because aircraft body is strong and low density. So copper is used for electrical wire because it's a good conductor of electricity. 55. You just have to identify the reactivity, the least reactive and the most reactive. The most reactive is calcium and the least reactive is, just use the reactivity series. Potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminum, zinc, iron, lead, silver, mercury, silver, lead, gold, platinum. Is it clear? Any other question? Related to metal and extraction. This was all about the doubts related to extraction of the metals.